Azure Foundry just got a major upgrade, and in this video, I'm going to show you why that matters. Let's build an email processor, step by step. AI agents, workflows, and no code. Are you excited? I am. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kirk, and in this video, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to build something practical, an email processor. And we're going to do this all in the new Azure Foundry GUI editor. No code. Yes, no code. We're going to look at how to build agents, how to connect all using workflows, using human in the loop, do a lot of different things, a lot of important things, and by the end, you should have a really good understanding how you can build something complicated, something practical using Azure Foundry. Are you excited? I know you are, so why don't we just jump right into it. Hello everyone, and welcome. We are going to look at the new Microsoft Foundry. Are you excited? I am. Okay, so if you go to ai.azure.com, and this is our landing page, but if you do not see it, hopefully you see a toggle here with the new Foundry. As of now, it's November 2025, so this is what we see here. Toggle that, and you should hopefully come to the landing page. Now we're on the landing page, and the top left are where you can manage the resources and projects. All this gets carried over from the old Foundry, of course. But you go in here, you can go into projects. I already have one created. And what we're going to do is we're going to go in here and start building. And we're going to create a design workflow. So let's look at that. So when I click on the build workflow, it took me to this page right away. I don't want this. So we're going to go back here. I don't want to save this. And we're just going to go on our workflows here and go to create. And I'm going to create a blank workflow. So here we are. And what we're going to build, we're going to do something a little bit more complicated and something that you could actually probably use and show you how powerful it is to do this without any code. And I'm going to build an email processor where we'll get some JSON that will represent an email that comes in. So you can think about maybe you have this in an API endpoint and you're going to send JSON data that gets triggered. And coming in, we're going to get the email. And the first thing we're going to do is look at this, look at the content and try to classify it. And what I'm doing is I'm just saying, like, think of this as a help desk for your company. And maybe it's an order inquiry or a product inquiry or spam or just a general inquiry. And that is the workflow part here. If it's an order inquiry, we're going to do something with the email, try to extract the order ID using LLMs and agents, of course. And of course, we're going to do that with the email classifier as well. Try to look up the order and give a summary of it. And here in this continue part, this is going to be our human in the loop part of the agent where we'll ask the user if they want to continue first actually processing it, because we don't know if this is correct. We want to verify the information. So I want to show you how to do that as well. If it's a product, we're just going to go in here and look up the product, and hopefully we'll find it. So if they send an email saying, hey, I would like to know about some books on baseball, and we will look at that email and try to look up some relevant information for you and send you an email. And lastly, we'll just give an email summary. Of course, you can start modifying this the way you want, but I just want to hit on some of the touch points of working with workflows and how powerful it is using the new UI GUI editor in Microsoft Foundry. Okay, here we are, back to our GUI editor for creating workflows. And I've just given this a name. I'm going to give it the name of email processor workflow. And as I said, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to get some JSON text, which I'll show you in a sec, that represents email contents, for instance, the actual email address, the subject, and the content, the body of the email. I'm not handling attachments right now. That's a bit more complicated. And honestly, I probably wouldn't use the workflow here. I would use Microsoft Agent Framework for something a bit more complicated. But for prototyping or for simple processes, this is great. So let's see how much we can accomplish. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we come in here. We're going to go in here and invoke an agent. Now, I've already created some agents here, but I'm going to show you this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the email classifier agent. Now, this is simple. I want to show you what this agent does. But we have our LM that we're using. I'm using GPT-4o right now. We'll test it. The temperature I'm lowering to make it pretty low because this is going to be a classifier and it's going to be pretty deterministic. But we're just giving it a prompt and saying you are an agent that helps classify incoming emails. Your choices are spam, order inquiry, product inquiry, or general inquiry. Look at the incoming email body, output your classification. Output should simply be a classification string. So that's all it's doing. Now we save this. Now, on the action settings here, we look at the incoming message, which is going to be system.lastMessage. This here is of type chat message, which is what we're going to give the workflow at the very start. That's just going to contain some content that we send to the workflow. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. I'm going to create a new variable. I'm going to call this local.latestMessage. Create that and save that, and I'll show you why in a sec. So we click on Done, and let's click on Save. There we go. So we have something right now, and let's actually just run this and see what we get right now. We haven't done much, but we should be able to see something. So if I click on Preview here, now we should be able to send a message, and this is what I mean by what this expects. So this is our body coming in to our workflow, our message coming here, our chat message. And right now I'm just having an email, kirk@test.com, and our name is Kirk McPherson, a subject, return order, and then some body saying, hello, I have an order that I want to return. Order number is 123. Can I do it? That's it. So think about this as just an email, or maybe this is a chat bot or whatever. It doesn't matter. We can change it. But let's just try sending that right now and see what happens. And look at that. What comes back is order inquiry, which is great. That's kind of what we expected, right? Now, if I change this, send a different message saying, subject book on baseball, and saying, I was wondering if you have any good books on baseball. And let's send that and see what happens. And look at that. We have product inquiry. Good. Looks like it's kind of working. One more test, just for the start. And we have general inquiry for this one, which I just said, just an inquiry on your account, saying I was wondering if I still have an account. So general inquiry. That's it. I'm not going to test spam because that's a bit more complicated, but you get the idea. So we've already done a little bit. Let's continue. Next, I'm going to introduce you to the concept of adding a variable. So here, of course, I have to get out of we're just actually previewing it right now. Now we click on here and we can, where is it now? We have the set variable. And I forgot to tell you, this will help to debug. I'm going to do set classification, the action ID. This is just for debugging, and you can actually see where we are in the steps. It's not necessary to change that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new variable called local.classification. And what this is going to hold is our last message, our latest message, which will be an array of content. That's what we got from here. Remember this, local.latestMessage. And we're just going to, because we just have text coming in, which will be the classification, that's what we're going to save. So let's save that. And I just want to show you here. Remember this, latest message. That's what we're doing the output. And this variable coming in from the latest message, we're going to get the text from that array. That's why we have this last here, and setting it as classification. Now, let's just do something here for debugging purposes, or this is good for when you're watching the agent, if a user is, and we just want to send some messages. So let's just go in here, and I'm just going to copy and paste something. Looks like the incoming email is of type, and then I'm taking the variable that we just set and outputting it. I'm just going to say send classification. So this, again, this is just a helper, but let's go in here and click done, and let's save this again. Let's preview. Okay, so again, we're just sending an order here. Let's click this and see what happens. We see our email classifier, and we've set a variable. And now we see here, we have this message. Looks like incoming email is of type order inquiry, which is great. That's what we expect, right? And we need this variable. Next, we're going to do some agent orchestration based on what the classification is. Is it a product inquiry? Is it an order inquiry, or something else? So let's do that next. Next, let's do an if-else statement here. So again, let's get out of the preview. And I forgot to tell you, of course, you can move this around, go in and out, because it might get a bit larger right now. But for now, we're fine. But let's go in here and let's do an if-else. And let's add some logic here now. So here, our first path. Okay, let's go in here and let's add our first if, and let's add our first condition. And we can type in here, local.classification is equal to order inquiry. There we go. Now we could add another condition. We don't want to do that. Let's just click on done. And let's go to our if. Let's add another path here, because we want to do 3 paths here. Let's edit this one. And let's say local.classification is equal to product inquiry. And let's do done there, done. And then else, we are down here. That's it. So this is our loop. We know what we know we need to fill in some of the details here, but this else here, let's go in here and let's just invoke a simple agent at the end, say if we don't know if it's a product or order inquiry. And our agent here, I've already created an agent. Let's just pick email summary agent here. And again, we are just taking our last message, which is the chat message coming in. And here we are, if I go in the details here, you are a helpful agent that helps. And of course I can edit it here. Summarize an email. You'll receive incoming content about an email. Create a summary message about that email. Let's click on done. And let's save this. And again, let's test this and see to make sure that our if-else condition here is working. So again, first thing I'm going to do is take my inquiry about an actual order, and we can watch it here. We'll see that it's going. We can see that it's going here for the order inquiry. So what happened here is it went here, send message, and we see that it's an order inquiry, and then nothing else. So it looks like it probably just went up here, but we can't really see that. So actually, let's test this on one that is, hopefully it doesn't do that path. Let me just do this one again. So here, I'm just doing a general inquiry type message. So hopefully it doesn't go into the order inquiry and product inquiry, but let's test that. So we're seeing it here. Oh, look at that. It did this else statement and the email summary. So what it says here, it says, "Hi Kirk, thank you for reaching out. You would like to confirm whether you still have an account. Please let us know if additional details are needed to assist further." Okay, that's great. So we have our if else statement here and our email summary agent. And now we're going to do a lot of the fun stuff and start filling in the details of order inquiry and product inquiry. Okay, let's go down the path of order inquiry agent first, the order inquiry path. So let's get out a preview here. And again, we can click on plus here. And we're going to invoke an agent. And remember, let's go back to our drawing here. So if it's an order inquiry, what we want to do is see if we can get the order ID from the email, see if he actually said that. Again, this is a pretty simple workflow, but this is giving you a bit of an idea of what you can do without any code, how powerful it is. So let's go in here, and I already created this agent. Again, these are simple to create in here, and the agent part hasn't really changed much. All this is really just a prompt. That's all it is. And I just wanted to do that beforehand. And I decided to pick GPT 4.1 mini just to test this. Agents, you might want to look at the LMs, what you can use for named entity recognition, because that's what it's doing. But let's look at the prompt saying, "You are a helpful email agent. You receive a body that contains an email address, name, subject, and body. Look at this info. If subject or body contains an order ID, return that order number. Only return the order number. If order number is not found, simply return not found." Now this part is important. We just want to return the order number, which I'll show you why in 1 second. Okay, so we have that part. We go on to the action settings. Again, what is coming in is our last chat message. So again, that will contain our, everything that came in, which I already showed you, the email address, the name, the subject, and the body. And we want to, again, save this as latest message. And let's do that. Let's click on done and click on save. Now, what do you think we want to do next with that? Yep, you got it. We want to store the variable. So let's look in here. Let's just zoom in here. Yep, there we go. And set variable. This variable, again, remember we just set the last message here. So let's create a new variable called local.orderNumber. And again, remember last local.latest message and the text. So that's that. Again, I haven't been setting this, but it's it doesn't really matter, but set order number. I didn't do that. So let's click on save. And what should we do now? Okay, let's actually send another message back to the user. Let's do a send message. And let's give a message. Let's just do something simple. Order number. And then here, we can just type local.order number. And let's click on done. And let's click on save. And at least now we can see the path of order inquiry if we actually go down this. So let's go and preview this again. Did I do this right? Let me see. We'll find out when we actually run it. So now I'm going to send a message. Again, the same thing, just an order. Let's just change this to 345. Order number is 345. So this is the body. And let's send this. Let's see what's going on. And look at that. It went down this path. Order extract an agent. We have something. And then our message, order number 345. That's great. Looks like we have something. So we're on our way. Now we can actually do something with that order number. Another thing I want to show you is we can trace it. So actually, if you click on any of these, you'll see the conversation going on. But you click on tracing here, and you'll see all of our traces, all the runs we just did. And this is our latest. And we can see the output here. So we can debug here and see that the agents took the right steps that we expected. That's why we wanted this to say a bit more information. So when you're debugging, so that's important. I remember I only did it a few times here, but send classification, I did. Looks like incoming emails of type order inquiry. So great for debugging. Great. This is great. This is kind of fun, isn't it? Next, let's continue this journey. Okay, one other thing I want to do is I just want to show you that we can go back and right here at the very start, I'm going to show you why in a bit why we're going to do this, but I'm going to do in here, I'm going to create another variable and I'm going to call this local.incoming email. And this here will be just our system.lastMessage.text. And this here is, we're just storing what comes in right at the start, and you're going to see why we want this variable in a bit, but I just want to show you that we can do that. So let's just click done. Let's click save. Let me just give this set incoming email, the action ID. Click on done. Again, save. Preview. And again, run this with the same thing. Order ID. We can see it running. And that's good. The tracing, our latest. Yeah, so our set variable here, incoming email. So we can see that it's doing it, setting it here. That's it. I just want to do that. We're not actually doing anything with it yet. We will in a bit. Okay, we've done a lot here, haven't we? Let's just pause and go back to our diagram and look at what we've done. So we have the incoming email, and we've classified it, and we look to see if it's an order inquiry or a product inquiry, or just a general inquiry, which will just summarize an email. So we've done this part. We looked at an order inquiry, and we extracted the order ID. We still have a lot to do here. Let's actually look at the product inquiry part here and think about this product lookup. So this will be an agent that will look at the incoming email, which will feed into it. And let's create a reg database to look up the products. Now, I've already done that part. I've gone in and already created an Azure AI search, this reg products reg. And we have a few products on here. I've taken some PDFs. So I have this Acme smartwatch. I have this Easy Breeze air purifier. So we have all this info in here. So if I just type in smartwatch, we will actually get something back. If I type in book, we will not get anything. So that's good. So that's that part. So let's think about this. Let's go back to our diagram here. And I actually haven't created an agent. All these other agents I already created beforehand, but that's because it's just some prompt text. So let's go in here and actually go to our product inquiry line here, and let's invoke an agent. And here we can actually create a new agent. Let's call it product info agent. Okay, so let's do that. And now I could just start editing things here, but actually I'm going to go into the playground here. So from here we can actually go in, click on the playground. I do have some prompt text here. Let's look at this. Your helpful agent, you look at the incoming message coming in, requests for product information. Find keywords in that incoming request and what they are looking for. And then we're going to use a tool to look up the product and give the client information on that product. And if you can't find an adequate product, say, sorry, nothing found. Okay, so pretty much we're just going to look in the reg, and if you can't find in the reg, say, sorry, nothing found. So let's attach our knowledge base, Azure AI search. Okay, so what it did is actually went in here and already attached ourselves to this reg products because that's already, actually let's save this. I want to show you here. We already have in our knowledge here this attached. You might have to do this yourself, but I already gone ahead and done that. So here again, our product info. Okay, now we have this attached here. Let's give this a test saying I'm looking for a smartwatch. And okay, so there it went. It found the smartwatch, which we have in our database here, Acme Smartwatch X2, which is great. If I go, I'm looking for books on baseball. Sorry, nothing found. Great. Okay, so we have this done. We have this saved. Let's go back to our workflow here. Okay, so we're in here. Product info. Okay, so we already have this selected. Actually, yes, product local. Let's click on done. Okay, so there it is. Let's save this. And let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. I've changed the message here to be an email saying I'm looking for info on watches. Hello, I'm a runner and I'm looking to buy a new smartwatch for my partner. What a nice partner. Okay, so please let me know if you have any. Let's send this request and see where it goes. Again, we've already done this part and we've done this if else condition and hopefully it goes down. Yep, so it's a product inquiry. And look at this, product info. I found a product that might suit your needs. Acme smartwatch. Okay, great. So that one worked. Let's go and look at our books on baseball. Oh, I have a little bracket here, but that's all right. So this is the book on baseball email. And yeah, so went in here and nothing found, of course. So that's great. So we have that. So what do you think we need to do next? We probably want to take that info and save it in a variable, right? So we can use it. Okay, so actually I haven't done this part. Let's go back. Let's get out of our preview. Last message. Remember, let's save this as local latest message. So we're taking the message that came in. Remember, this last message is our chat message, which contains all the info that was in the email. So the subject, the email address, and the body. And now we're going to save it as last message. Click done. Let's just save that. Let me zoom in here. And here, we're going to set a variable. Let's call this local.productInfo. And this will be last local message dot text. All right, that should do it. We clicked on save. Okay, so we have that variable. Let's just go in and let's just do the email summary here as well. And I just want to show you something because now that we have the variable, and I just want to run this and I want to show you something. And let's preview this. Let's go in and do our watch inquiry again. So we're going in here, product info, setting a variable, that's great. And here's our email summary info about smartwatches, saying, hi, Kirk, thank you for reaching out. You're looking for info on smartwatches. But it didn't use anything that we looked up. And why do you think that is? Think about this for a second. That is because this here, let's get out a preview. The email summary agent takes in the last message, which is just our chat message. Doesn't take anything about the product info. So what we need to do is feed in that product info. But if I just fed in the product info, we won't have any info about our email. Remember just a little while ago, I set this incoming email variable. We're actually going to use that now. So what I'm going to do is go in here and set another variable. Let's call this local.allData. That makes sense. For that local all data, what we're going to do, I think this is incoming email. So what this is going to do is just concatenate all the email data, and if we found a product, the product as well. And now we have that as a variable, all data, and email summary. Now what we can do is the incoming message, we can actually change that to be that local all data message. So let's go ahead and save this. And let's preview this again. Let's run this with our product inquiry. It's going down here, looking at the product, setting some variables, and here's our email summary. So it's actually just a summary. It's not really an email. It's not something we can feed in. So from here, we might want to do something else with it, but you get the idea. Saying Kirk McPherson is looking for information on smartwatches for his partner, specifically for fitness purposes. So it's getting that from the email. And then it's saying you could recommend the Acme Smartwatch X2, which is what we got from the product info, which is great. So now we have a lot of info. We've gone down this whole product info line here. And from here, we can probably do something else. But like we could actually probably trigger an email or save this to a database or have a salesperson work on it. But you get the idea. Now, actually, let's just test this with that book on baseball, something that it can't find. So this is again the general email about book on baseball, saying, sorry, nothing found. And then it gets here and says, hi, Kirk. Thank you for reaching out. Unfortunately, we currently do not have any books on baseball available. Okay, and then from there, you get the idea. So we've gone down this path and we have this part working, which is great. So now let's go back to our order inquiry path and let's look at human in the loop with this as well. So that's next. Okay, we've successfully done our product info lookup, this path here. Let's go back to our order inquiry path. Let's just remember what we did here. So this is an email saying we have an order number of 123. And yes, so we have the order number here. It extracts it. Okay, for the sake of brevity, let's get into a preview here. For the sake of brevity, I'm going to create kind of a dummy agent. It's called order lookup agent. And what this does is it's just an agent that gives you back some dummy info So actually all it's doing is this, if it's looking to see if 1, 2, 3 comes in, then it's going to return an order as JSON data. Of course, this should be from a database or a rag, but I've already gone in and shown you how to hook up with a rag with a product info. I'll let you do that if you want to do this as an exercise to actually look it up in another rag or a database, or in future tutorials, I'll do that. But I want to make this simple. So what this expects is just an order number coming in. So we cannot have this last message, this email. We need to take that order number, which we just set before. So if I click on, let's click on done here, but I'll show you that. Order number comes in and it looks it up. And then let's save it again to our latest message here. So let's do done and save. So I just want to show you that. This is the order number, remember that? And that's what we're outputting here. Gonna look it up. Let's run this again with our order inquiry. And yeah, so now it just spits out some JSON, this last action here. A bunch of books, that's what our order was. I'm just saying October 31st, 2025, 3 items, the total $300. This person's looking at books on AI, great. Now if I just test this again, but as a different order number, 456. And there's a message here, error not found. Yeah, so it's saying it just wasn't found in the database. Now let's go in and get out a preview. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save that as a variable. Local.order details, yep. And last, local latest message dot text. Done. And let's output that data. Here is the order info found. And what is it? Local.order details. Yes. Done. Save. Run it again with a good order. Found the order. Where is our message? Here. Oh yeah, here it is. So here's the order info found. It's just JSON. Obviously we want to pretty it up, but you get the idea. Now if we do a bad one, now we're just saying error, order not found. Again, I would pretty this up. Again, I'll leave that as an exercise to you. But now what do we want to do? Let's think about human in the loop. Say the person who's running this agent or sees this data, they want to act on this message. So let's do that part next. Okay, now that we output that message, we're back here in our editor. I just zoomed in here. Let's click on add, and this time we're going to do an ask a question. And I'm going to give this an action name so I can see it. And question saying, do you wish to continue? And let's say the user response as local.continue. Do that, and we're just going to save it here. And now we're going to go here, and since we saved this as a variable local.continue, Let's do another if else after that. And let's say if local.continue is equal to yes. We have a string, and we probably want to do a bit more logic with this, because we might just type Y or capitals or whatever, but you get the idea. So let's go here and let's see if it goes down that path. And then if it's yes, let's do well, let's think about this. Let's do the email summary. Again, we're probably gonna have to change this here in a second. But let's see this. Let's see if this works. So let's save this. Go into preview. And let's do our good order inquiry. Hopefully it comes down here. And now we actually have to type something. Let's type yes. Oh, I have an error. Let me look at this in a second. Okay, my error here was I had this in curly brackets for the if condition, local.continue is equal to true. Just had to remove that. So let's go there. Let's preview this again. And this is our good email inquiry. And it found the order, outputs it, and now it's asking me if I wish to continue. And if I type in yes, me as a human, remember, human in the loop, and we see it's going to that email summary. And of course, it doesn't have anything there, but that's what we're going to fix next. Let's just try this again with the same thing. And just to try the other flow here. If I type in no, it does not go to this part. Okay, great. So there's human in the loop. So let's just finish this. Let's do something similar to what we did before. Think about this email summary. We probably want to have the actual contents in here. So what comes in here? Okay, as I said, here we need to get the data that contains, what is it? The order details and the incoming email. So when we're here, well, let's just go here. Set the variable, let's call it all data. Again, we already created this in the other flow. And in here, this will be incoming email and what is it? Order details, right? Order details. There. Do that. Let's save that. And this here, what is coming in now is all data, not just the chat message. Save that. Let's run this again with the order inquiry, order 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Let's get into here. Continue, yes. We've set the variable. And now Kirk is requesting assistance with returning an order. There we go. The order number is 123, placed on October 31st. The order includes 3 copies of Book on AI. Great. So we are complete. Look at that. We can do this with an order that doesn't actually exist, but maybe we still want to continue. So again, we have an error here. Probably not the best message. Maybe we would still want to continue. Let's see what happens here. And then we get a generic message here. Unfortunately, the order number divided appears to be invalid. And yeah, that makes sense. Or we can just break out and say no in the human in the loop. There, so we've accomplished a lot. Actually, for the sake of brevity here, let's close this. Let's add an end to stop the conversation. That's it. Save that, and we've done a lot without any code. I'm hoping you're impressed. I am, and if you got this far, I'm really impressed. And hopefully you enjoyed this. Thank you. That's it for today's lesson. Wow, that was a long one. Are you still here? If you are, congrats. But look at everything we just accomplished. We just built an email processor using the new Azure Foundry GUI editor. No code. That was pretty fun. I hope you had some fun. Just a reminder, if you got something out of this, and if you're not already subscribed, go subscribe. Also, like this video. That will help me out a lot. I know it's a long one, but I just want to tell you, I'm glad you're watching, and I'll see you next time.